May I please request all of you to put your hands together and extend a very, very warm welcome to our Chief Guest, Shri Amritlal Meenaji, IAS, Special Secretary, Logistics, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. So we are privileged by your kind presence here. And amongst all our guests, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Afzal Malbarwala, President, ACAAI. A round of applause as we extend a very warm welcome to him. May I also present to you on the dais Mr. C.K. Govil, Vice President, ACAAI. A round of applause as we extend a very warm welcome to him. And of course, we have with us Mr. Praveen Menon, Treasurer, ACAAI. A round of applause. He's just traveled all the way from Chennai to be here amongst us. And we'd like to extend a very, very warm welcome to each of you right here. And of course, all of you, our members, are very, very special team of people. And we say that today, if we are all a great grand team, it's because of each and every one of you sitting right here and your teams back home. So may I request you to please put your hands together for each of them. You know, it is often said that great things in business can't just be done by one person. We need a team to support, to make sure that our voice is heard. As they well say, that air cargo isn't just merely about moving one to the other. It's really about providing seamless service to our customers. And every one of us sitting in this very room are the very best that one has in air cargo solutions in the country and beyond. And I think every day we're only getting better. As you're all well aware, the Air Cargo Agents Association of India is national association representing the air cargo industry of the country, which was founded way back in 1970 with merely 16 members. And today, we're all so very proud of the fact that we are over 600 in number. So a round of applause for once again, because each of us in the system are working to promote the interests of its members and of course the Indian air cargo industry as a whole. I know the industry is going through a little bit of a rough patch, shall we say, but we're going to cross that as well together. And that is what the symposium is really about, to bring about on the same very platform our policymakers, representatives from the government, at the same time our members, our teams to get together, brainstorm and think about solutions, how we can overcome various challenges. So today we look forward to all that and more. But firstly, as per the Indian traditions, we'd like to bring with the auspicious lamp lighting ceremony. So may I please request our dignitaries to join us as with the auspicious chants of Saraswati Vanna. May I please welcome our chief guest and our dignitaries on the dais to join us for the lamp lighting ceremony. Sir? By lighting this lamp, we pray to the Almighty for a brighter future for all of us as an industry and bring positivity. Lighting the inaugural lamp with the chants of Saraswati Vandana. Mr. Menon doing the honors. May I request all of you to join us for a group picture with the lit lamp as we thank each of you. It is said that if you light the lamp for somebody, your path too will be lit. And that is exactly what we hope for this evening. So thank you so very much for doing the honors. You know, today each of us sitting here is so very proud of our nation. And as we make sure that we take India on the grander map of the globe, may I please request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा जगति तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind. Please. As we look forward to an evening of conversations, to an evening of exchange of ideas, to an evening of exchanging experiences and so much more, we'd once again like to take a moment and thank our chief guest for his kind presence. So may we extend a very warm welcome to him and present him with a floral welcome. May I request all of you to please put your hands together as I now request our president to present Sir with flowers, our love and affection. So a round of applause, please. Thank you so very much, sir, for gracing the occasion. It has indeed been a pleasure. May I now request our Vice President to please wrap the warmth and our heart's affection by presenting sir with the traditional Indian shawl amongst applauses from our audience. Thank you so very much, sir, for gracing the occasion. And before we begin, I'd once again like to take a moment and thank all our partners for their support, their trust in us, and for making the symposium possible. So may I take a moment as I thank our platinum partner, Carico Systems Private Limited, our gold partner, Viz Freight, our silver partners, Gina and Company, Sea Air Freighters International Private Limited, Chalebi Delhi Cargo Terminal Management Limited, Continental Carriers Private Limited, Delhi International Private Limited, and an applause from all of you will be absolute wonders. So once again, let's hear it up. I'd also like to inform all of you that ACAAI will be organizing its 46th annual convention in Bangkok in Thailand from the 24th till the 27th of November this year. Of course, this will happen after a gap of 2 years due to the pandemic. So we are looking forward to your support in full. In case you haven't registered, I'd like for you to do so please at the earliest, and you're more than welcome to meet the team and know more. But really, to extend a very warm welcome to each of you, I'm going to invite a leader who really does know how to make all of you all follow along and at the same time be a part of it. May I request all of you to please extend a very warm welcome for the President of ACAAI. A round of applause as I welcome Mr. Afzal Madawala to extend a very warm welcome to all of you and present the opening address. Sir?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chief Guest Shri Amritlal Meena ji, Special Secretary Logistics, esteemed guests from the air cargo industry, members and board of advisors, and my fellow managing committee members, sponsors of the event, cargo media partners, ladies and gentlemen. I heartily welcome you all to the ACAAI Symposium 2022, which we are conducting after the pandemic first time in Delhi. We have gathered here to applaud the launch of National Logistic Policy by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji on 17 September 2022. After the launch, ACAAI decided to organize an informative session on the topic and requested the government bureaucrat who was instrumental in this creation, Shri Amritlal Meena ji, to attend the same. Thank you, Meena ji, for accepting our request to appraise the audience with the salient features of the policy. The National Logistics Policy is the result of the combined commerce, industry, civil aviation, shipping, road transport, highways, railways, and various experts from the logistic domain. What made launch more remarkable was that it was unveiled within a year of the launch of Prime Minister Gati Shakti scheme on 13th October 2021. The Prime Minister Gati Shakti aims to promote integrated planning of infrastructure and train control coordination for project implementation across ministries and builders. It is the potential to save over 10 lakh crore annually by improving logistic efficiency. Level, digitalization and the completion of major projects aim to boost state and national level economy, employment opportunities and reduce the logistics cost to less than 10%, which is key for improving India's global positioning in the World Bank Logistics Index. It was long due for the industry that provided spinal support when our economy was reeling under the effects of a virus. Its success depends on how we embrace it, perform and show progress. So I hope that we all stakeholders would optimally utilize all aspects of these policies and contribute our best for its implementation and result. On behalf of the Air Cargo Association of India, I thank the Honorable Prime Minister and his team, including Meenaji, and congratulate industry colleagues on this incredible achievement for our industry and the country. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir, and how very beautiful worded by you. It all depends on how we embrace it. So may I please request all of you to put your hands together for our President yet again. And on that very, very positive note, may I invite our chief guest, somebody who we look forward to having as a supporter, as a mentor, as a guide, and somebody who has driven every phase that he's ever been a part of. In the past, our special guest and chief guest has been very, very active in every step that he takes. He has in the past been the Joint Secretary in Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Government of India. He's also worked for Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, and has served as District Magistrate in 5 districts of Bihar, comprising in all over a decade. He also has been a very special part of various departments like Rural Development, Urban Development, Building Corporation and more. May I request all of you to please extend a very warm welcome to Shri Amrit Lal Meenaji, IAS, Special Secretary, Logistics, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. A round of applause as I sir request to address this august gathering.
So, good evening and thank you very much for inviting me and giving this opportunity to interact with all of you. President Mr. Afzal Malwarwala, Vice President Sri Chandrakant Kovilji, Mr. Praveen Menon, and all dignitaries present today in this event. Honorable Prime Minister has launched this national logistics policy about which today we are here to exchange the salient provisions of the policy and to address some of the concerns which you may have. Honorable PM has launched it just 1 month before on 17th September. Some of you have kindly spared time to attend the inaugural launch function in Vigyan Bhavan. During last 1 month, the industry has received it in overwhelming manner, and there has been a lot of hopes and aspirations attributed to the launch of National Logistic Policy. Today, in this interaction, I would like to run through the salient features of this policy so that you are generally aware of, and thereafter we can take question and answers. So, as you know, the logistics cost is factor of transportation, warehousing, the inventory and systems. Honorable PM has launched PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan last year, October 13th, specific 2021. National Master Plan aims at creating world-class transportation infrastructure across modes of transportation, railways, highways, civil aviation, port, telecom infrastructure, power, new and renewable energy, all sectors. The National Master Plan PM Gati Shakti has targets to be achieved by 2025, and also this provides for learning from our experience of implementation of the infra project so far as to what were the disruptions which used to delay the project, which used to result in time and cost overrun. So all those experiences have now been attempted to be redressed through this digital GIS based National Master Plan, where all digital infrastructure layers, the regulatory layers, administrative layers are available for any planner. Before the alignment is finalized, they are able to visualize as to where the disruptions would arise during the course of implementation in terms of forest clearance, in terms of habitation, in terms of asset of other ministry, water bodies and so on. So in the process of finalizing the alignment, it is clearly now visible, and in last 1 year there have been enormous work that has gone into by different infrastructure ministries in planning their infrastructure, and the results are quite encouraging. Earlier, for example, alignment of an highway used to take 4 to 5 months or maybe 6 months, and it was also difficult to go each and every kilometer and to visualize the geographical conditions at the ground. But now with this National Master Plan, one is able to map each and every layer. For example, Pune to Bengaluru, new greenfield highway is being constructed. Now when the alignment is drawn from Pune to Bengaluru and the data layers of forest, mines, water bodies are mapped one after other, it is possible to visualize as to where all the disruptions would arise. So either the planner realign the project, or they take a considered decision that this is what minimum we have to seek approval for. So that has helped a great deal to all the infrastructure ministries. The other important component of Gati Shakti is those critically gap infra projects which, though not very cost involving, but are important in terms of their value to the economy. So we have undertaken the extensive exercise of identification of such projects. Our ports, all cargo handling ports, 74 are functional port and another 13 are about to be made functional. So for all 87 ports, to see that there are no disruptions, no congestions, no time for waiting, what is the additional rail road connectivity that is required? The complete audit has been carried out. Similarly for steel sector, fertilizer, food grain movement in the country, cement movement in the country. So such kind of critical projects have been identified, and the respective ministry is now according higher priority in terms of taking such critically important infrastructure projects. And then monitoring. So under the framework of project monitoring group, all projects are monitored to ensure that they are all implemented in time. So the infra part of the logistic ecosystem is being attempted through the National Master Plan. The other parts, the warehousing, systems, regulations, processes, inventory, is to be targeted through the National Logistics Policy. So all of you are aware that we have been working on this National Logistics Policy ever since the creation of Logistics Division in Ministry of Commerce and Industry, 2017. There have been consultation with all the industry associations. The global experiences have been examined, and thereafter the draft of policy was formulated. Now, after the launch of PM Gati Shakti and based on the experience of COVID, the policy has now been finalized and launched. It has taken into account all the components of globally available best policies in terms of infra, resiliency, multimodal approach, and so on. During the formulation of policy, as all of you know, two important things are always talked about: the logistic cost and the logistic performance index. So our logistic performance index ranking has been 44 in 2018. Thereafter, the ranking has not been carried out by World Bank. Now, there are 6 factors which contributes to about the logistic performance of any country. In this policy, we have attempted to address all those 6 factors, so that concrete terms, all those 6 factors contribute to the betterment of our performance. Now, in terms of logistic cost, 13% of GDP is 2007 is steady, but this also is debatable. There have been another study which talks about little different cost in terms of percentage of GDP. But whatever it is, the factors which affect the logistic performance, we through this policy have attempted to attend. As you all know, logistics. The vision of this policy is to develop technologically enabled. All system and processes are ultimately to be technologically driven, integrated all modes of transportation, including the digital systems, cost efficient, resiliency, sustainable, and trusted logistic ecosystem in the country for accelerated and inclusive growth. This is the vision of the policy, and the targets which are part of the policy is by 2030 we are targeting to reduce cost of logistics to be comparable to global benchmarks. Currently, it is stated that globally better performing economies, the cost of logistics is 8 to 9%. So by 2030, we aim to achieve the globally better performing or the comparable performing countries. The LPI we are targeting at among the top 25 countries in the world. And to measure the logistic performance, it is also planned to develop our own digital monitorable parameters so that we continuously keep on monitoring. Now, how the cost would be reduced? As per the estimation, transportation accounts for, out of this 13% which we have just discussed, transportation accounts for almost half of the cost. Currently levels are 6. Warehousing 3.5, inventory 2.5, and order processing 1%. So every component through, first component through the National Master Plan PM Gati Shakti, second, third and fourth component through the National Logistics Policy. So NMP plus NLP taken together is the solution to the logistic cost reduction and improving the logistic performance of the country. Now, these targets which have been envisaged are proposed to be achieved through specific action items. In detail, everything is discussed in the policy. First is integrated digital logistics systems, about which I will talk in the subsequent slides. Then standardization of physical assets, warehousing, palletization, racking system, carriers. We have developed the e-hand for the standardization. West standards have been incorporated. Now it is being shared with the financial institutions that as and when you assist some developer, try to promote. It has also been shared with Warehousing Association of India. Through them also the standards are being promoted. Now, human resource. The Department of Higher Education has consulted with all the universities and the higher educational institutes, and about 102 institutes have decided to take up more and more courses at post-graduation level on logistics and supply chain related courses, and also the logistics sector different qualification packs according to the felt need of the industry, so that the skilled manpower is available. Now, onboarding state is also very important chapter into this policy, because we in India, central ministries and state governments both have to take work together, then only the impact can be felt. Focus on the export import, then service improvement framework. Here we are of the, based on the consultation with the industry association, we feel that the issues which industry associations feel and come across to be resolved through different departments should be resolved in time-bound manner. You keep on, many times you keep on representing, but the issue does not get resolved, and it is difficult to keep track also. So under this services improvement framework, as part of the policy, we have created Ease of Logistics Services portal, in which all the logistics industry associations, including ACAAI, can register themselves. They can raise policy issues which are affecting their sector and can track it. Now, all the issues raised on this portal by different logistic associations would be monitored by a services improvement group, which would be multi-sectoral group of senior government functionaries who will take India as a whole, what is better, that will be the guiding philosophy, and then sectoral plan for efficient logistics. See, though there can be general improvement, but there may be requirement of a particular sector. For example, coal evacuation. There may be extensive development of the highway and roadways, highway and the railways, but for the coal evacuation, maybe a requirement of some additional roads, maybe requirement of development of the inland waterways or coastal shipping. So for all 15 different sectors of the economy, coal, fertilizer, cement, food grain and so on, sectoral logistics plan would be there, so that the felt need of that sector is focused. Then network of the logistic parks and terminals. Multimodal logistic parks is being talked about, but now it has taken shape. Ministry of Road Transport is developing 35 multimodal logistic parks. Ministry of Railways is coming out with cargo terminals. The NICDC and the DPIIT is developing 32 nodes where multimodal logistic parks are there. Many states are also now coming forward in terms of setting up of the logistic parks. This entire network of logistic parks would be there on the National Master Plan, available for the planning and usage purposes, and based on the experience, further guidelines will evolve. Under integrated logistic digital system, you must have heard of the unified logistic interface platform. We have been talking of multimodal connectivity, rail, road, port, airport, but digital systems of different ministries were developed at different point of time. Need was felt under Motor Vehicle Act to develop Vahan software. Then need was felt to develop the driver's database in the form of Sarthi software. Then FASTag, FOIAs of railways, port community system, airport community system, DGFT, iState customs. All these systems were developed at different point of time, but they do not talk to each other. Whereas you as user use all systems, so for your ease, it is necessary to integrate these systems. So under this policy, Unified Logistic Interface Platform is the integration platform which has facilitated integration from the requirement perspective of the logistics sector player. Now, around 50 logistic companies and IT startups have already entered into the non-disclosure agreement and have started using the API integration for their use case developments. In fact, about 6 crore transactions in last 1 month have taken place on ULIT Today only while coming to this conference, I collected this figure because for me also it is unbelievable adoption that is seen through this ULIP. So I would request you to have a look over it and see as to how it can bring in efficiency gain to your operations. Ultimately, it is expected to come out with e-logistics market platform, and as an outcome of ULIP, secured logistic document exchange is also a use case on which some of the banks have already started working. This is the structure of the ULIP, all the systems integrated on request and response base, and this is available to government agencies, manufacturers, entrepreneurs, startups, and then the National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation, NIC, DCM, DPIIT is the nodal body who is monitoring the ULIP. Now, on standardization of physical assets, I have discussed about warehousing, palletization. All these standards are there. We are into it. On this aspect, I have already talked about. In fact, on the government's IGOT platform, Capacity Building Commission under the government has set up an IGOT capacity building platform. So courses on PM Gati Shakti and logistic policy have been developed and posted for general people's viewing and understanding onto the IGOT platform, so that anyone who is interested. Now, onboarding state, apart from various other things, what we are pushing is all the states to come out with a state logistic policy. If the state comes out with a logistic policy, it is a statement of their vision. So 13 states have notified their policy, wherein they are talking about how they will promote warehousing, how they will promote smart enforcement. All these components are there as part of the policy. 16 another states have drafted it, and by December I hope all major states will have their policies. Now the policies will also be monitored in close coordination with the state government, so that there is a complete focus. In fact, in last year's budget, to promote the logistic ecosystem at state level, special central assistance 5,000 crore rupees have been announced by Honorable FM, wherein states can take up these critical logistic gap projects, setting up of ICD, CFS, AFS, warehouse, last mile connectivity project, MMLPs, even acquisition of land for setting up of new industrial units, because in many of these states, the old industrial estates have got saturated. So all those provisions have been, now with the view to have healthy competition among states, this logistic ease across different states survey exercise has also been started in 2018, 19, 21, and this year's report has been released by Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry on 13th of this month. So the LEADS report has brought in a lot of activity and enthusiasm among different states. Action Logistic, we have the National Center for Trade Facilitation, and through the different agencies' issues, we'll keep on coordinating and monitoring. Service improvement framework I have discussed about. Ease of Logistics Services is a digital portal on which any industry association can register themselves, raise issues, track issues, and through the SIG, Systems Improvement Group, we will resolve them in the time-bound manner. Now, sectoral plan for efficient logistics I have discussed about, and there is a monitoring and the coordination framework. At the national level, inter-ministry issues are discussed first at the level of Services Improvement Group, where the joint secretary level officers of different ministries, which includes Department of Revenue, Foreign Trade, DPIIT, MORTH, port shipping, and so on, they will sit together and take view on the issues that have been raised. And if there is an issue where the higher level of guidance and the decision is required, then empowered group headed by Cabinet Secretary with secretaries of all 23 departments as members will take the view. So it's a complete, focused intervention, and similar structure is at the state level. In fact, for PM Gati Shakti, all 36 state and UTs have constituted EGOS. They all have the network planning group, and all of them are now very actively involved in the logistic ecosystem. So I'm sure by working together, we should be able to make significant improvement in the logistic ecosystem of the country. Thank you. If you want, we can take up the questions and clarification right now, or if there are certain clarifications, I will be happy to address that.
So may I request you to please raise your hand, introduce yourself, and you're welcome to ask questions. We'll be more than happy to take about 2 to 3 questions.
Good evening, sir. I am from Chennai. My name is Krishna. Let me first compliment you on this phenomenal policy guidelines that has been brought about.
Thank you.
Sir, 2 concerns I wish to flag in the national interest. While you have prepared the ground, unless there is a robust national capacity to transport goods in and out of India, both by air and sea, much of these efforts that we are going to see may not attain their full fruition. Are we looking at some sort of a catalyst for the government? I'm not asking the government to invest, but some sort of a policy initiative where the national capacity for international transportation is augmented and augmented very fast. That's my first question, sir. The second question is on skilling, sir. Sir, logistics industry cannot be taught in a classroom. It needs apprenticeship. It needs apprenticeship. In our skilling programs, it has to be a hybrid module, sir. What are your thoughts on the hybrid module of skilling? Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll reply to all the questions.
Sir, this is Ramakrishna from Delhi.
Yeah.
Of course, during your course of telling, you have said that there is a logistic cost differs. But your own ministry had come out with a figure of 8.89 as a logistic cost. And of course, you had also said about the inventory carrying cost of 6.1% or 6.21%. Is the inventory carrying cost you are taking all across the national, including the private, or it is only at the government level where it is with the various ICDs, ports and other things? That's a precise question, because if it is only at the government level or at the customs or at the port or rail handling agencies, then probably it is manageable and it can be reduced.
So Vipin Vora from Continental. So my main question is on the policies which were announced long back, and now even the new policies are being announced. But there's a policy which was announced in 2014 of AFS, and it's almost 8 years. Nothing is happening on that. We are still stuck on that. People have invested money. The trade wants to, have these type of facilities to have competition with the terminal operators. But the policy is not, happening. The main issue is that tell us where to go, in the national logistic policy. Shall we go to the, Gati Shakti, or we go to, any other way to get this policy implemented as soon as possible? That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Hello sir, my name is Praful Shah. I am representing Group Concord. I have 2 questions to ask. One is when we talk about setting up industrial parks, logistics parks, multi-modal logistics parks and all. So what I have realized with my experience is that land acquisition is a big challenge for setting up all this kind of industry, right? As a government, government has all means to have the land in their pocket, but as a private player, it's a very daunting task. And the cost of acquisition itself creates any project unviable. That is one question. So what government have thought about? That is number 1 question. Number two, in terms of when we are developing this kind of policy, there is always a conflict of different ministerial departments. Like, Commerce Ministry does not recognize certain policies of Finance Ministry and vice versa. That is what we have seen in the SCZ policy and FTWZ policies. So how are you going to take care of these two questions? Thank you.
Thank you. So I attempt response to these four issues. Thank you very much, sir. On your observation on national capacity for international transportation. So you are aware of the large scale infrastructure projects that are being developed. You must be knowing that 8 years ago, 1.75 lakh crore was being spent on the capital expenditure. This year the budget is 7.5 lakh crore. The existing network of the highways, golden quadrilateral, we are all aware of that. So apart from that, about 25,000 kilometers additional greenfield highways, 4-lane, 6-lane, expressways, access control are part of PM Gati Shakti. 2014, the network of national highway was 91,000 kilometers. This year, it has gone up to 1.41 lakh kilometers. And by 2025, the targets under Gati Shakti are 2 lakh kilometers. So, work on all those is under different stages. Similarly, railway sector, you are aware of the dedicated freight corridors, eastern, western. And apart from the dedicated freight corridors, as part of Gati Shakti, Ministry of Railways has undertaken complete audit of their freight movement network and have identified about 125 choke points where little bit intervention can improve the movement. For example, to give you, in Maharashtra, you are all aware that Bhusawal and Jalgaon, these two are very busy junctions. Now the freight movement northward or eastward was taking very long time. So little south of these two stations, from Pachner to Jamner or some Botad, a new single line was there in part of the length which has been converted to double lane, so that the entire congested junction is bypassed for the freight movement. If we look at, for example, another example I want to give you, from Punjab to Siliguri, the movement of food grain is through the railway racks. Now, in the whole exercise, it was noticed that there is a particular stretch of 95 km long, which is single lane, and the entire network is double lane. So this 95 km stretch from Gorakhpur to Valmiki Nagar was causing a major bottleneck. Ministry of Railways has identified it and taken it as a priority project, which will add 15 rack per day capacity. 15 rack per day. Similarly, for example, Singrauli, coal evacuation for the power plants of northern Indian states is from Billi to Chenar section, which is single lane. Now, loaded racks passes from Singrauli, Billi to Chenar, but the empty racks, they cross this route by taking 250 km long route through Bihar and Jharkhand. So by just taking a doubling project of this Billi-Chenar section, about 50 km, this 250 km unnecessarily circuitous route will go up. So 125 such projects have been identified on priority in Kolkata. So these are a few examples. I talked about the port, comprehensive port connectivity master plan to cater to the requirement of all the ports and for other sectors also. So there is definite focus, and based on your input, because now the institutional arrangement is there where the logistics sector associations can give their inputs that look, this particular section needs little more focus. If those inputs come based on your experience and based on the complete process digitization, the prioritization would definitely be there because the objectives are very clear. Now on skill, apprenticeship and hybrid mode, you have talked about. The National Logistics Sector Skill Council is working on it. We are in close touch with the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. to promote, you rightly said, the logistic skill has to come by way of working on the site. This cannot be brought into by just lecturer or the tutorials or the digital courses. So that focus is there. Now, about the logistic cost calculation, you rightly said that National Council for Applied Economic Research has come out with that study. And of course, that Armstrong and Armstrong study is there, 13% of GDP. But globally, see, it's very complex to calculate the cost of the logistics. Still, we are discussing with the experts to devise some methodology by which at least nationally accepted logistic cost calculation system can be developed. We are working on it. Now, Vipinji spoke about the AFS policy 2014. You are aware of the efforts that are being put into by all the stakeholders. Similar such issues, which from the point of view of the logistics sector are important, will get time-bound registration and redressal through this Ease of Logistics Services portal, this Services Improvement Group framework, which is part of the National Logistics Policy. I am hopeful that with this intervention, now inter-ministry consultation would be time-bound, and what is useful, what is good for the country, that view will ultimately prevail. On the cost of land acquisition, Sri Prafullaji spoke about. See, under the special central assistance, the states where there is saturation in the industrial states, new industrial parks can be developed. Land acquisition assistance is part of SCA, and in our NICDC developed nodes, world-class infrastructure is available, whereby in those parks we have adequate land. If you are, someone is looking for land for setting up of the manufacturing capabilities, the NICDC nodes we can discuss and facilitate. Now, coordination with other ministries and recognition of policy by other ministries. This policy has been, National Logistic Policy has been notified and announced after consultation with all ministries for over a long period of time. Completely everyone is on board. That is why the Systems Improvement Group, that is why the empowered group of secretaries. So these are national policies, and every ministry has been duly consulted, and everyone is on board, both for the National Master Plan PM Gati Shakti and also the logistic policy. So now it's government has one effort to bring in the logistic efficiency. Thank you very much.
Sir, we'd like to take this opportunity by thanking you for really telling us the salient features of the policy, and at the same time for really clarifying all these pointers. So a big round of applause for him candidly taking up all these questions. And of course, sir will be joining us for the networking evening as well. So I'm sure all of you who'd like to connect with him on a one-to-one basis, he'll be more than happy to take a few more pointers then. But let us now take this opportunity by presenting him with a token of our love so that he remembers us, a memento to thank sir for his presence here. May I please request our President, our Vice President and our Treasurer to present sir with a memento. A round of applause as we do the same, please. Applauses as we capture this beautiful moment. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us here. And at this point, we all are so very excited as we are about to present to you our latest all-new look, our website, where we are spreading the word, telling us a lot more. And I'd like for sir to please do the honors and unveil the first look of our website amongst all our members here. May I please request for the tray? So may I please request you, along with our dignitaries on the dais, to look towards the screen, and the minute you click, we are going to have the first look of our area. A round of applause as we bring to you our latest website. And I'd like to request all of you to please take out those smartphones and get to know more. With a lot more content, very, very engaging. The first look amongst all of you, and please do head to www.ACAAI.in as we bring to you a lot more. And of course, the first set is going to be our much awaited convention from the 24th to the 27th of November, our 46th annual convention in Thailand. We look forward to seeing all of you there. Thank you so very much, sir. We're so very glad that you could be here and unveil the first look of our website. In fact, I'm sure 100% of us here have smartphones, right? May I please request you to take them out and please go on our website right away. We want all of you to make it very, very engaging. So please go, have a look, tell us how we can improve. We'll be more than happy to take your pointers. And in case any of you haven't registered for our convention, now is the time, so please do register. We'll be happy to see you taking it over from the pandemic till now. And this is the moment where I'd like to acknowledge all our partners for their support once again, and everybody who's been a part of creating this symposium. So may I please request our chief guests and our dignitaries on the dais to acknowledge them. Amongst applauses from all of you, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Parminder Singh, Managing Director, Carico Systems Private Limited. Mr. Singh, I request you to please join us on stage and give us a moment to thank our platinum partner, Carico Systems Private Limited, and the entire work that they've been doing. So thank you so very much, Mr. Singh. I request you to please join us here. And may I request Shri Amrital Veena-ji to present him with a plaque to show our appreciation along with our dignitaries. Let's capture this moment. Thank you so very much, Mr. Singh, for your support. And now to thank our gold partners with Freight, may I please invite Mr. Satish Lakaraju, Global Head Air Freight and Pharma, with Freight, to join us here on stage amongst applauses from all our members. Yes, please, sir. Thank you so much. Let's create a beautiful moment right here. Let me also thank our silver partners. Let's welcome Mr. Cyrus Latgara from Gina and Company. Let us put our hands together as we thank him for his presence, for supporting us, and always being a part of the association in full spirit. I'd also like to thank Air Freighters International Private Limited and extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Manoj Kumar Jain. A round of applause as we have Mr. Jain joining us on stage. What a moment to celebrate our association and the support that he's been extending. May I also welcome Mr. Kamish Puri from Jalebi Delhi Cargo Terminal Management Limited, the CEO, joining us here on stage. Mr. Perry, what a pleasure having you here amongst us. Thank you so very much, sir. I'd like to thank all our silver partners for their support. And also thank Continental Carriers Private Limited, Mr. Vipin Hora, the chairman, joining us on stage as we take a moment and thank him for the support that he and his team have extended. Applauses from our audience. May I also thank our silver partners, Delhi International Private Limited, and extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Sanjeev Edward, Chief Commercial Officer, Delhi International Private Limited, to please join us on stage. And applauses from our audience as he steps forward. Thank you so very much, sir, for your presence. For supporting us all through and being such a spectacular part of the association, I'd like to thank Kale Logistics Solution. Please, let's welcome Mr. Amar More, co-founder and CEO of Kale Logistics. I'd like to request him to please join us on stage. And I think the board of advisors, our past presidents, they've all always supported and mentored and made sure that they're. May I request the presence of Mr. Vipin Vora to please join us on stage. A round of applause. Let's also welcome Mr. J. Krishnan. And thank you for that question, sir. You made sure that we keep it going. And a group picture to really create a moment out of this beautiful frame there. You can see all our past presidents up on the screen there. So let us take a moment and thank all of them who are physically present here and those who are present in spirit as well. Could not be a part of this evening, but definitely send us their best wishes. Well, welcoming Mr. J. Krishnan, thank you so very much for your presence. May I also welcome Mr. S.L. Sharma to please join us on stage and give us a moment to acknowledge his presence, his support. I'll be calling you all on stage again for a group picture very soon. May I now welcome Mr. Sunil Arora and request his kind presence here on stage. And of course, let me thank each of our past presidents, Mr. Sam Katkara, Mr. Keshav Tanna, Mr. Snehal Parikh, Mr. Anand Vidwani, Mr. Hemant Bhatia, Mr. T.A. Varghese. Gentlemen, I'd like to request you to please continue with your presence as I thank Mr. Selva Kumar from Airport Authority of India Cargo Logistics and Allied Services. May I request you to please join us on stage. A round of applause as he steps forward, please. Mr. Gaurav Dubey from Logistics Insider, our event planner and the one who's put this brilliant show together. Please join us on stage. A round of applause to Mr. Gaurav Dubey. May I also welcome Ms. Jasleen Kaur, our digital media partner from A-Space Digital Cargo, to please join us on stage next. Ms. Jasleen Kaur, thank you so very much for your support. A round of applause for her. May I also present to you Ms. Devika Jeet, Director, Cargo Talk, our media partner. And may I request her to please join us on stage with that beautiful smile. Let's hear it up for Devika, please. May I also present to you Ms. Yogita Bhurani from Cargo Insight, our supporting media partner, to please join us on stage. Ms. Yogita Bhurani or anyone from her team from Cargo Insight to please join us on stage. Let's also hear it up for Mr. Ajit Kumar, Cargo Connect, our supporting media partner, to please step forward. Mr. Ajit Kumar joining us on stage. And may I once again remind all of you all to please register for our upcoming 46th annual convention. Thank you so very much, sir, for doing the honors. I'd like to request you to please take a seat. As we look forward to our upcoming convention on resilient air cargo industry post-pandemic, and as we are all set to come back in full swing, we look forward to seeing you in full spirits from the 24th till the 27th of November this year. And now to formally thank each one of you for your presence, may I please present to you Mr. Vikram Kumar, Chairman, Northern Region, ACAAI, to join us on stage. A round of applause for him, please.
Good evening. I'm not used to public speaking that much, so if I make an error, I apologize in advance. See, on behalf of the Air Cargo Agents Association of India, it's a privilege to be asked to deliver the vote of thanks on this occasion. Mr. Meena, it was an absolute honor to have you here and be educated about the new logistics policy, which will probably shape the future of logistics in our country. And I, on behalf of ACAAI, sincerely thank you for your presence and your insights on this topic. I must also give a very warm thank you to all our members and our participants for being here, as the success of any organization depends on the strength it derives from its members. I would also like this opportunity to thank our sponsors for supporting us always: Cargo Systems Private Limited, Wizz Freight, Chalabi Delhi Cargo Terminal Management Limited, Delhi International Airport Limited, Gina & Company, Continental Carriers Private Limited, Sea Air Freighters International Private Limited, and a word of appreciation and thanks to our media partners, Apace Digital Cargo for our digital partners, Cargo Talk, and supporting media partners Cargo Connect and Cargo Insights. The event partner for today is Logistics Insider. Thank you very much for organizing everything properly. And I would also finally like to thank our office bearers, managing committee, and board of advisors for always supporting us, backing the Northern region for this event. And I especially want to acknowledge the efforts made by Mr. C.K. Govil, Vice President, and Mr. Sushant Singhal, Executive Director at ACAAI, without whom this event would not have been possible. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for sparing the time and making this evening a success. It's only me now that is between the bar and you, so I won't take that much time. Thank you very much, and the evening is open.